What is going on, Buffalo State Hockey? My name's Evan Harrington alongside Bengals head hockey coach Steve Murphy for another episode of Mondays with Murph. We have a lot to get into this episode between the team's past games this past weekend and the two final games of the first semester against non-conference opponent Trine University. But before we get into all that, Murph, how you doing?
Doing good, Ev. Just another week here, trying to close out the first semester on a positive note.
So taking a look back at this past weekend, you guys went 1-1 in the SUNYAC Conference play of things. We talked a little bit about the Potsdam game, the post-game interview on the Instagram, but now here, the team lost 4-1 against Plattsburgh. Just what are your thoughts from that game overall?
We knew Plattsburgh was a good team going in. I just think that we couldn't really get anything. Well, to start the game, we missed two breakaways and a couple odd man rushes or a couple plays down low in the offensive zone that, we score first, maybe changes the course of the game. So we didn't take advantage of a couple of early opportunities that we had in really the first 5-6 minutes of it. They score first. We make a mistake, odd man rush. We had four guys jump into the play, and all four guys end up below the top of the circles, and we kind of talked about that in the first or after the first. Just played a little reckless there, and didn't take advantage of the odd man rush. And when you don't take advantage of it, bad things can happen. And sure enough, they go down the other end and score. Then we get a power play goal, which was big, just even things back up. I thought our first period was pretty good, and then one more maybe mistake in the first, and they made us pay for it. But through the course of the second and third period, we just we couldn't get anything going because we just kept putting ourselves in bad spots, taking too many penalties. Right, we'd have one or two shifts, start to get our legs going, take a penalty. Then we'd have to kill a penalty. Then 1 or 2, 3 shifts, start to maybe tilt the momentum again, take a penalty. And so that was just kind of the course of, I guess, the rest of the game. And then you take a 5-minute major, start the third period. Yeah. And ultimately, we didn't survive that. They got one. We just put ourselves in terrible spots, and we paid for it. We couldn't generate anything offensively. Tough one to swallow.
Yeah, you spoke of the penalties. You had 2 2-minute penalties at the end of the second period, and then you mentioned the 5-minute major to start the third period. So pretty much from the final 5 minutes of the second and the beginning 5 minutes of the third, about 9 minutes were played shorthanded.
Yeah, I mean, we took the whole course of the game, we took 13 minutes in penalties. You play essentially a whole period of hockey shorthanded, you're not going to win. I don't care who you're playing. And so we talked about it. Hopefully we addressed it after the game, and it can't happen again, and it definitely can't happen this weekend.
So now moving forward, it's a big weekend for you guys, closing out your first semester against a big-time opponent in Trine University. They're 10-1-1 so far on the season, a nationally ranked team. Just talk about Trine so far this season from what you've been able to gather on them this week.
Trine's going to be a good hockey team. They're a top 10 team in the country, and certainly playing really well right now. It's just another challenge for us. I think if we stay disciplined, and again, if we just play our game, we give ourselves a chance every night. But looking forward to that challenge, going up against them. They're rolling right now. Had a big win over top 5 team St. Norbert this past weekend. So it's a lot of work here this week in practice, just again, kind of fine-tuning, getting our game right. It's still early on. We're still only 9 games into the season. There's still a long way to go. Spend the next couple days here looking to get our game right and talk about some of the things that, maybe we can learn from this past weekend, both Friday and Saturday, and, kind of see what happens this weekend now.
And the one thing I wanted to get your thoughts on, just because it's kind of related to the SUNYAC Conference, Charles Barkley was actually in person for the Fredonia men's hockey game this past weekend. Just what are your kind of thoughts, the figure of Charles Barkley making his way to Fredonia on their alumni weekend and stepping in and watching some Division III hockey?
Yeah, no, it's funny, right? Like it's good publicity, right? I think just for obviously Fredonia, but more importantly Division III hockey and the SUNYAC and stuff like that. So yeah, it's probably pretty cool for them. I know we've had a ton of people come through this building in my time here, stuff like that. But that was pretty cool to see, and I think Division III hockey got a lot of attention because of that, and that's good. That's good for our game.
All right, that has been another episode of Mondays with Murph with myself, Evan Harrington, and Bengals head hockey coach Steve Murphy. The team is back in action this weekend against Trine University to close up and wrap up semester 1. Once again, Evan Harrington and Coach Steve Murphy, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mondays with Murph. Have a great rest of your day. Go Bengals.